You know, when it comes to being in a band, sometimes it just doesn't work out for whatever reason. Maybe people don't get along, maybe it's the stress of the road, maybe it could be anything. And sometimes people go their own ways, bands split up, people walk away. It's a hazard of the business, I guess you could say. And I've got two very such musicians on the show this week. I'm Scott Penfold, and welcome to another edition of the Loaded Radio podcast. Now, joining me on the show this week, first off, I'm going to be speaking with Michael Moose Thomas, who's a drummer. You may have heard of him. He was with the band Bullet for My Valentine, essentially from the band's beginnings back in 1998, right through into 2016. That's 18 years with a band. That's a lot of time sitting behind a drum kit for any particular band. But hence, things didn't work out. Moose walked away and eventually found himself in a new project that featured another ex-member of Bullet for My Valentine, being bassist Jason James. And the name of that band is Kill the Lights. Now, I guess you could call Kill the Lights somewhat of a supergroup, as you've got Michael and Jason in there, formerly of Bullet for My Valentine, as well as vocalist James Clark from Throw the Fight, guitarist Jordan Whalen from Still Remains, and Travis Montgomery from Threat Signal. Now, this band formed in 2018 and are about to release their second full-length album, Death Melodies, via Fearless Records. We're going to be talking to Moose on the show tonight about what happened with Bullet for My Valentine exactly, how he got involved with Kill the Lights, and of course, the new album. Now, it doesn't stop there. Also joining me on the show this week is another musician who comes from a similar experience. Now, have you heard of the band Thunder Mother before? Great Swedish all-girl act. Awesome band. But unfortunately, like I said, sometimes things don't work out. They can go south. And when it comes to Thunder Mother, 3 members walked away from the band, all at once, and went off to form their own band. And the name of that band is The Gems, and I'm going to be speaking with Mona Lindgren, who is the bass player as well as guitarist for this badass band. They're seriously great. Plain and simply, if you dug Thunder Mother, you're going to love The Gems, maybe even more. So we'll be talking with Mona in the second portion of the show today to find out what exactly went down with Thunder Mother. And we'll also discuss the appropriately titled debut album from the band called Phoenix. I'm Scott Penfold. This is the Loaded Radio podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Want to remind you to check out loadedradio.com for our hard rock and metal news. It's constantly updated, as well as the 24-hour live radio stream featuring live personalities and specialty shows, and of course, past episodes of the Loaded Radio podcast available there as well, featuring talks with the biggest names in hard rock and metal. You can also download the free Loaded Radio app to get all that stuff right to your device. We are now going to be speaking with, first off, this gentleman here. He is the drummer for the band Kill the Lights. They have the new album Death Melodies arriving on March the 8th, and it's great to have Michael Moose Thomas with us on the show this week. Michael, how you doing, man? Thanks for joining us on the Load Radio podcast.
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Now, Kill the Lights really, I love how you guys came together. Almost like, I wouldn't call it a super group, but you may all come from sort of like different backgrounds or different bands. Now, what really brought all of you together to do this project initially?
I was just sitting at home, really, and I was just really bored. So I thought, I'm not doing nothing at the moment, so I may as well give another band a bash. So I thought, I didn't want to be in a band with strangers because, I might not like them, they might not like me, and then 6 months down the line, it would have been end off. So I thought, who do I know and who do I get on with? And immediately text Jordan, who's Still Remains and Bullet, toured for years together. So I just text Jordan and went from there.
Obviously, you had left Bullet for My Valentine. You were essentially a founding member of Bullet. What exactly happened there? Were you just unhappy? Was it just time to move on? What exactly went down there?
It was just time to go. I think on both sides of the parties, it was just time to go.
Can fans of Bullet kind of expect? Will fans of Bullet, will they be drawn to the new stuff from Kill the Lights, do you think?
Definitely, yeah, because myself and Jay, the old bass player for Bullet, is in Kill the Lights also.
Yep.
So you've all immediately got the people. A lot of people say this sounds like early Bullet, but it's going to sound like early Bullet because it's got half of the original members of Bullet in it. So it's going to be definitely a big element of that in there. No, not trying to copy what we've done in the past. That's just how we write.
Of course. Now, do you maintain a relationship with Padge or any guys in the band at all, or are you sort of just on your own now?
Yeah, I put that behind me. I shut the book, and we're looking forward to moving forward now.
Effectively starting over. Was it rather daunting for you? Was it overwhelming at first? How was that?
It was really nice, actually. I could have done a jazz record if I wanted to. It didn't matter what I did, because there was nothing stopping me, nothing holding me back. There was no, there was nothing to stop me or say otherwise. So it was quite pleasurable, actually.
Well, good. Now, some of the tracks off of the new album, really great, man. Like straight in your head kind of rock. I really dig it. Tell me about Sleep with the Devil. Where did that track come from initially?
we're a big fan of like mixing up songs on our album. We do want our album just to have the same theme all the way through. And whenever we're writing together, I always ask the guys to make sure they bring an acoustic guitar because, when the writing sessions get flat sometimes. So I'll say like, oh, bust out the acoustic guitar. And then Jordan said, oh, I've had this acoustic guitar part for the last like 15 years or something. Mm-hmm. And he started playing Sleep with the Devil. So, that's how it came about. And we was like, is this going to freak out all the metal people? And we were like, do you know what? We're writing it. We like it. It's another string to our bow, So we finished it and put it on the album.
I think my favorite track thus far is Scapegoat. What can you tell me about that one?
That's probably one of my favorites as well. I don't know. It's just relentless. It was that's another Jordan inspired song. He just sent me this song, and it was their least favorites because it's me and Jay over here and the American guys. So we call them the Americans. It was the Americans' least favorite, and me and Jay were like, "That song is incredible." They didn't want it to be a single, and I was like, "You got to be crazy if you think that's not going to be." Just writing it, it's just super fun. It's super fun to play. It's super catchy. It's got the aggressive vocals of Jay and James on it. I just think it's an all-round great track. It
really is, man. I really dig that track a lot. Like when you guys are writing, as you're saying, Jay's bringing you stuff or things like that. Is it usually you guys sort of off on your own, working on things and bringing it into the studio, or is it like a collective, hey, let's write a song kind of a thing?
A bit of both, but we do prefer to be together.
Yeah.
So, a couple of the songs were written like file sharing via the internet and stuff, but the majority of it was when we're together. So we just hop on a plane, get together, and that's when the best stuff really comes out, I think.
Yeah, I can imagine that too, because it really is coming through great on this album. The first album you guys released a couple of years ago now, a great record as well too. I think people were really pleased with that one. Do you think that this follow-up is going to surpass the expectations of what came out with the first album? Do you think people are going to really be pleased with this record?
I hope so. We definitely worked hard with it, and we tried the best we could. This album, I feel, has got better songs than the first album. Yeah. The first album was just myself, James, and Jordan writing that one, really. Yeah. But this album, all five of us had input writing this one, and I feel this is like more like the first Kill the Lights album that everyone should be enjoying.
How's it working with Des Fafara as a manager in that aspect? How is that?
We're actually not anymore. It's no bad blood. We all both sides love each other. We sent him an email. I think our label sent him an email. And we worked together for a while, but yeah, we love what they do over there. They love what we do over here. It's just we couldn't make it work really together, but it was no bad blood, and we love each other dearly.
Oh, that's cool, man. Yeah, Des is a great guy. I spoke to him a few weeks ago. That must have been cool though, working with him.
Oh yeah, definitely. Just having phone calls with him and stuff. He's so energetic and so. He just loves music, and we can definitely relate to each other in that aspect.
Now you got the upcoming tour, the spring tour coming up here. Now, what can people expect out there on the road when you're out there, when you're performing? What can people get?
We're just going to be playing all the songs people want to hear, really, and the songs that we want to play. And we're just super excited. We're actually got a free run on this album. There's nothing holding us back. So we're just chomping at the bit, and we're super excited to go out and see everyone and meet everyone and say hello.
Now, being that you've all come from different bands, essentially, has there ever been, curiosity, or have fans ever asked, are you going to perform any songs from your previous bands? Has that ever happened?
No.
No. You're going to get fans. I see it online as well, but fans wondering if you're going to be performing those songs. Which I guess people have a right to ask to a certain degree.
Oh, no, yeah, definitely. They got a right to ask. I don't, this is my past. I'm very, grateful for what I achieved with Bullet in those early days. So, yeah, if we wanted to play, we wrote the songs as well, so there's no reason why we shouldn't. But no, I think Kill the Lights deserves its own shelf at the moment.
Certainly. Now, getting into you a bit, Moose, when it comes to playing drums, who do you find as a personal influence to you? Like, who made you want to get behind a drum kit?
It was Dave Grohl.
Was it Dave Grohl, really?
Yeah, I started playing guitar, but then all I could do was drums. And then I was a massive Nirvana fan, and I was watching Dave Grohl all the time. I loved the way he played drums, and then from there I got into more metal stuff. So I got into like Vinnie Paul from Pantera, Dave Lombardo from Slayer, Scott Travis from Judas Priest. It just goes on from there.
Who are you listening to these days? Like, who have you got going on in your headphones right now? Who are you listening to?
I really like that band, Bad Omens.
Oh, Bad Omens are great.
They got some good songs. You know, whatever they got is really good. You know what I mean? I saw them live the other day, and I was like, these really good, catchy songs. I think they're going to do well. They are doing well. So there you go.
I was just thinking about the lineup of your band there. I mean, you got a couple of guys from the UK, you got some US guys in there as well. Did you find that you all come in with different sort of viewpoints on how rock should be, or rather like hard rock or metal should be performed to a certain extent?
Yeah, no. One of the biggest things is I love with this band is when we was doing like the first album and some of the new songs, everyone was like, well, but what should I do on this part? And I'm like, well, just be you. I want to hear you play, you know what I mean? I don't try and rip off anyone else. Just be yourself. And I think that's the best way to be.
Now, I did mention, of course, you have the tour coming up. Are there any other plans coming up? Anything else going to be going on with Kill the Lights? Or is it simply like, just let's get to the road, let's get the album out kind of a thing right now? What's going on with you guys? What's the plan?
Plan is release the album March 8th. Get on tour, and all eyes are focusing on touring all year and next year. And we've started writing our third one because we can't keep still, really.
Are you cool with being on the road for long periods of time? You all right with it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm used to being, 9-10 months out of the year touring, but I don't think it's going to be that crazy like I used to because I got 2 little children now. So and the rest he's got kids as well. So, but it's definitely be a lot of touring, but we're not going to kill ourselves.
Awesome. Moose, thanks for taking the time, man. Really do appreciate it. And I really love the sound that you guys have with the new album. It's killer, man. I can't wait to see you on the road.
Lovely, man. Thank you for having me.
All the best. Take care.
Hey, bye.
There he is. That's Michael Moose Thomas from the band Kill the Lights. And man, I'm telling you, the new album, Death Melodies, badass from what I've heard. Just great metalcore sounding stuff, man. I mean, that's what you're going to get. You got half of Bullet for My Valentine there doing what they do best, and they're doing a great job of it too. But I'm now being joined by the bassist for the band, The Gems, and her name is Mona Lindgren. Now, the band is made up of vocalist Guernica Mancini, drummer Emily Johansson, and as well as guitarist, bassist Mona Lindgren, who joins us on the show right now. And they have the new album, Phoenix, arriving soon. And the tracks I've heard from it, I mean, it pummels, man. It is straight in-your-face rock. It's good. And Mona, thanks so much for joining us here on the Loaded Radio podcast this week.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
No, hey, no problem at all. Obviously, a lot of people, excited about this new project. You guys, bring the straight up rock and roll. I love the tracks off of the album. Phoenix is just a great sounding straight up rock album. Now, people obviously get kind of curious. What happened with Thunder Mother to make you guys go and form the Gems?
It was beyond our control. We just got home from the tour with Scorpions, and we always been a band and a democracy. And all of a sudden, our former colleague decided by herself that she wanted to fire Guernica, only due to personal reasons, because me and Emily talked to her, and she wanted to have a secret meeting with us and convince us to fire Guernica. And I could hear no reasonable reasons for firing Guernica. It was, she simply just don't like her, like personally.
Right.
And we thought that was bullshit because we always treated our job professionally.
Sure.
And it was too much of a betrayal, and she changed the passwords for all the social media platforms for every one of us. So we decided we cannot work with someone that's so unpredictable. And she basically broke the band contract. So we decided to just step aside and start working on something that's real instead.
The second that you guys decided that you were going to be walking away from Thunder Mother, was there immediately like, okay, we're going to form a band together? Did you guys immediately think, yes, we're going to continue working together?
Yeah, because our goal the whole time was to be successful in the music business.
Sure.
And have a successful rock band. And we really wanted to break big. And that's been our dream and what we aimed for the whole time. So I think we decided the same day that let's just continue with a new project, with a new band, and just continue exactly what we did in Thunder Mother. So Yes.
Phoenix sounds so great too. I mean, it's straight in your face rock and roll, and I really, really like it a lot. Who produced the album?
It's a guitarist called Johan Randén.
Okay.
He's he's like amazing fusion guitarist. He was so great at the age of 11 that his guitar teachers couldn't teach him anything else.
Really?
They couldn't teach him more. They were like, no. When he started the music school, all the guitar teachers couldn't teach him anything because he was 100 times better than them already. So they decided that, okay, you need to take courses in music production instead, because we can't teach you anything else on the guitar. He learned sound engineering and became a very good producer. And he mostly produces pop music. And that was actually why we wanted to work with him, because we wanted to do our classic rock, but we still wanted to have it in a more modern costume.
Sure.
So we want to take classic rock into the modern age. And I think we managed pretty well to do that.
It's amazing you'd seek out a pop producer, because when I listen to the album again, I'll say it's a rock album, dude. It's a kick you right in the face kind of rock album. So I think it's kind of funny that the guy worked with pop, because I mean, to me, I would have swore whoever produced this, they've been working with rock bands for years, because it's right. It's awesome.
He's really good. He's a musical genius, and he has the perfect pitch, and he knows exactly what note you're playing. If you play a really complex chord on the piano, like a jazz chord, like he can tell, he can say all the notes in it straight away.
So he's kind of like a phenom then. He's kind of like he's very gifted.
Very.
Tell me about the song Like a Phoenix. That's the first track I heard off the album. That's a great lead off track. What can you tell me about that song?
That song was actually written by our producer Johan Randén and Emily, and it was actually meant for Thundermother's album Black and Gold, but it somehow got downvoted because someone didn't want to have it on the album.
Okay.
But that was good for us, because that meant that we could release it as our first single, and it has streamed really good, and everybody we really liked it. It seems like it's it's a popular song, so we're very happy about that. And also it was great, PR wise, because the title and the song speaks for itself, and it's telling the whole story, like the whole the thing we went through, and the media and the music blogs and the newspapers, they could easily write like from the ashes like a phoenix. They made up all of these headlines. So that song was it was the perfect first track for us, really.
Definitely, very suitable, and it's a great rock and roll track too. Another great one I like "Send Me to the Wolves." What can you tell me about that one? Yeah,
that was the first song we wrote as a band, and actually we wrote it. We were in the studio writing songs the day before we put out the announcement that we were leaving Thunder Mother.
Oh wow!
So we were already in the studio writing "Send Me to the Wolves" even before people got to know we split with the former band. And that song is very special to us, because that became like the trademark song for us, because we were thinking entering the studio for this songwriting session that we want to play classic rock but with a modern touch. And how would that sound? And the result was "Send Me to the Wolves," which is a perfect mix between this old style, like Led Zeppelin riffage, and the modern sound. So I think Johan, the producer, he even programmed the bass like he created this bass sound that was it consisted of one programmed synthesizer bass that's really low.
Yeah.
And I recorded the bass one octave higher. So he mixes those two sounds together. And he made all kinds of tricks in the production for this song. And I think the result is a very modern sound, but it's a classic rock song in the bottom. So yeah, it's special to us. Send me the rules.
Out of curiosity, like, how do you guys as a band create as a unit? Like, do the three of you go and sit down in the studio and think, let's create together? Or do you like bring in separate ideas? Like, how does it work for the Gems?
It works differently. We wrote Domino, Send Me to the Wolves. Those two songs we wrote from scratch together in a songwriting session with U1. But other songs we created, like, for example, if I had an idea for a melody or a theme, and I brought that to a songwriting session. Or, for example, Running, that was a song that Gernika had written for her solo project. And that was sounding more like a new metal song, and the guitars were tuned down to C sharp. So it had a completely different sound when she brought that song to the table. Yeah. And we rearranged it and changed the melodies a bit, and I figure out, like, we can do this in the key of A, and we can change the melody in the verses so that they are one octave lower, and then in the chorus you can sing it one octave higher. You can sing it so that the chorus stands out more. We rewrote a lot of songs together, like songs that already existed but didn't fit our sound perfectly. Also, Undiscovered Paths, it's one of those songs. That song was written for mine and Emily's old band. We had a band like 11 years ago.
Okay.
And Undiscovered Paths, it was inspired by Muse.
Oh, cool.
And it had us like a arpeggio synthesizer in the beginning and everything. But the lyrics really sucked because I was 20 years old. I was really bad at English, and at the same time, I wanted to write this deep and poetic lyrics, and they were a disaster. We just kept the melody and the chords, and Gernika rewrote the lyrics for it and changed the melody so it would fit her style of singing and her melody language better. So it's a little bit different how the songs are created.
Now that the album is out, what's going to be going on with you guys in the future and in the months ahead? You guys going to be hitting the road? Like, what's going to be going on?
Yeah, we're going to play a few shows in Sweden now in the nearest future. Yep. And in the fall, we will go on a longer European run. And we are looking at US, how we can get over there in the future. It's probably not going to be this year because it's, it takes a little bit more time with setting things up properly. Yeah. All the PR work and the visa and finding funds for it also. So that's going to take a little bit more time to plan, but we're looking into that also. So that's a plan right now.
Awesome. Mona, thank you very, very much for joining me today. I think you guys are awesome. You're badass. I can't wait to see you guys over here in North America. I'm really excited for you guys, man. You guys sound really, really good, man. I'm not just saying that.
Thank you so much for having me.
All the best, Mona. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
There she is. That's Mona Lindgren from the Gems. And yeah, man, I'm telling you, man, check out Phoenix. It is a great debut album from this incredible trio. That's going to do it for this week. And thanks as always for tuning in to the Loaded Radio podcast. Again, don't forget, check out loadedradio.com. As well, download the Loaded Radio free app because, well, you just be happy that you did, man. If you dig hard rock and metal, That's definitely an app you're going to want, okay? The price is right. It's completely free. I'll talk to you again the next week on an all-new edition of the Loader Radio podcast. I'm Scott Penfold, and we'll talk to you then.
Loaded Radio.